Good to have you back here on Bills by the Numbers, where we let the stats tell you where the Bills are at. We're presented by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Coming up with the defense still shorthanded by injury and suspension. Should the offense shift its approach to help them? Is it necessary to make a trade acquisition for the defense at cornerback? And where can special teams step it up to assist? It's an all-hands-on-deck edition now. Pleasure to have you with us here on Bills by the Numbers. He's Bills Wall of Famer Steve Bills Wall of Famer Steve Tasker. Good grief, what's wrong with me?
Not much usually.
I'm Bills play-by-play man Chris Brown, and we begin with an overarching look at Buffalo's team. And there is no mistaking that the Bills are lacking manpower on defense due to injury and suspension, and it appears to be limiting them in terms of the calls defensive coordinator Bobby Babich can make, and to a certain extent it is compromising the unit's ability to play as a cohesive 11-man team. Only 15 defensive players for Buffalo have played in all 5 games this season. That's tied for the fewest among the 28 teams that have yet to have a bye. Baltimore and Indianapolis are the others. Now, we're not saying that players aren't doing their level best to be their best 1/11th, but for a defense that was already a bit in transition in terms of new pieces and an influx of youth, it doesn't feel as tied together as it's been in previous years. And that's not an easy thing to fix in a matchup league if you don't have the guys to effectively match up. So, does the defense just hang on and manage it until they get to the bye week, Steve?
Well, I don't think they have much choice. I mean,
No.
they're going to have to do that. So, yeah, it's easy to step back and go, there's not that much to fix. Certainly the defense could get healthy. That would give them a better handle. The only thing you're worried about now is that when they do get healthy, they're still not enough. I believe they are going to get healthy. Ed Oliver will get back on the field. I think at some point Dorian Strong and Max Harrison will be available. Keontae Jenkins, the whole crew is going to have a chance to get on the field. And when that happens, then you got to reevaluate. That doesn't say anything about Hoyt and Ogunjobi. Those guys will help. They're going to be solid pros. Hoyt has got a chance to really give them an uptick on their pass rush, the whole thing. So, yes, there's no reason to start shuffling the deck now, even given, the times where the third down problems they've had, the red zone problems they've had, the run stopping problems they've had at times throughout the first 5 games. So, yeah, there's no reason to turn it upside down.
I get the feeling that knowing you're getting Ogunjobi and Hoyt back after the bye, there seems to be this sense of, well, let's just see what that looks like first before we make any decisions about potential trade acquisitions, free agent signings to address what we deem could be an area that's thin, either A, in terms of talent, or B, in terms of just bodies. I get the sense that McDermott and Bean want to see what it looks like, knowing they have a couple of players coming back to the fold before they make any decisions that could be deemed rash. Now, the second part of this brings me back to the old Colts teams with Peyton Manning, when they had a defensive unit that did not have the manpower either. And what they did to prop up their defense was have their offense execute long, time-consuming drives to shorten the game, give their opponents fewer possessions to reduce their opportunities to score. Peyton Manning would often run the play clock down to under 3 seconds on every play to chew up as much clock as possible. First question, do you believe with the consistency and productivity of Buffalo's run game that such an approach is possible if deemed necessary?
Possible, yes, particularly with their run game, like you said. James Cook gives them that ability. They struggled to do that against the Patriots, although I don't think that was part of the overarching plan. When you're trailing in a game, you need to get back in it. So the run game and their offensive production does seem to make it possible, even with Josh's ability to dink and dunk and throw short passes and stay on the field. Teams have done a good job keeping an umbrella on their defense and not letting the Bills take a lid off. We've heard lots of Bills fans over the course of the last few weeks say, we can't take the lid off the defense. We can't take the lid off the defense. There's nobody that goes deep. Listen, that's one thing that the Bills' opponents are making a concerted effort to do. And the Bills have been quite happy to score their 30-plus points a game, taking advantage of what they are giving them. So I think, this offense does have the manpower and the horsepower to do whatever they want offensively if it's in their game plan. And James Cook is really a big catalyst in that, no question.
Yeah, I think there's two sides to the coin here. If you decide that your defense is so shorthanded, you need to help them by holding on to the ball longer. One, yes, you can do that, but if you're scoring 30-plus points, it probably doesn't matter anyway because this defense has proven it's good enough to at least win you games if you score 30 or more. But in a week where you don't, like New England in Week 5, is it more prudent to assist your defense with a longer time-consuming drive and give that opponent fewer possessions? It's hard to predict. Like, hey, I don't think we're going to score 30 this week, so let's do this. You kind of have to let the game unfold first before you maybe adopt such an approach. But I think it's something to think about if you get in a tight game like that and your defense is struggling, where you might say, hey, let's grind this thing out and hold on to the ball. Because I think, to your point, the offense is good enough to say, let's just go 10, 11 plays here.
Right.
And then, put points on the board. The second question is, do the numbers indicate that the Bills are doing some of this already? Buffalo currently leads the NFL in time of possession at 34 minutes and 10 seconds of possession time per game. In 3 of their 5 games played, they've had one more possession than their opponents. In the other 2, they have been even in total possessions, Dolphins, Patriots. So they've never been outpossessed in a game yet this season. But only 11 of their 53 possessions have used 5 minutes or more of game clock. That's a little less than 21% of their possessions, which would indicate they're not really making a concerted effort to lengthen possessions and hold on to the ball. But should they?
Not in the first half of games, no. You got to come out in the first half because you never know how any game's going to unfold. And you said it earlier. You kind of wait to see how the game unfolds. Yeah. You need to come out and push the gas and score as many points as you can, as often as you can, and get. Then in the second half, if that other team has kept up with you, keep your foot on the gas and keep going. But if they have missed on a couple of their possessions, you're up by 10, by 14, by 17 points. Then, you just shorten the game.
Like they did against the Jets in Week 2.
Exactly like they did against the Jets, like they have done against the Dolphins later in the game. That's just the way the game is played. So you need to see the game unfold. I don't think it's accurate or prudent to go into a game with a game plan of we hope they don't score on us. We hope that they, that we can keep them off the board. Now, you don't go in playing defense on offense. You go in trying to score, and put the pressure on them to keep up. If they can, and we've seen it over the years, a lot of teams just aren't built for it. They just don't have the horses. They don't have a quarterback or weapons or an offensive line like Buffalo does. And every so often they'll do what Buffalo did against the New England Patriots. They cough it up multiple times, maybe.
Yeah.
Or they don't get a third down. They have to settle for a field goal when you're scoring touchdowns. They just can't keep up. So when you get a team that, if your offense is putting pressure on that team with possessions, they just run out. And then late in the game, we've seen it dozens of times with this Bills team. And now it works really well with James Cook. They hand it off, and they can grind out some first downs. And that's what put games away.
Bills' opponents have scored on 42% of their possessions through 5 games. That puts the Bills' defense 20th in that category. 26% of their opponent drives result in a touchdown. That ranks 21st. Buffalo's defense forces a 3-and-out 34% of the time. That ranks 15th, and they are 19th after 5 games played in third down defense. So when it comes to giving up points, the Bills' defense is lower third of the league. And when it comes to getting off the field, Buffalo's defense is at or near the middle of the league. Can they reduce the scoring rate as the season wears on? That's the $50 million question. If they can, well, then you got nothing to worry about. But you don't know who's coming back into the lineup. And granted, the coaching staff likely knows a lot more about this than we do. But if you're not getting horses back, aside from, Ogunjobi and Hoyt notwithstanding, like if Hairston's going to take longer to get back in the lineup and get up to speed and get on the field at a position where you're currently very thin with Dorian Strong also on IR, it may prompt you to think about either making an acquisition. But I think if the Bills' offense simply gets back to scoring points and not turning the ball over, and they're out-possessing teams each and every week, as the first 5 games have indicated, you probably don't have to do anything extra on offense to help the defense. Just keep on scoring.
Yeah.
And if you score 30-plus, you should be okay.
Yeah, and
it
has
80% of your games.
And it does have Bills fans clutching their pearls a little bit because this defense, while the numbers are middle of the road, 15th and 19th and third down, 15th in possession, forcing 3 and outs, 19th and third down defense.
Yeah.
It looks worse than that because the Bills get turnovers. So the team's moving. So it looks like you have no defense. Then they cough it up, and you tend to forget about the fact that they just had a drive that they were still moving. And it kind of makes it seem like the defense is worse than it is because they get, finger quotes, lucky breaks with turnovers. So Bills fans really have probably a worse opinion about the defense than even the numbers show.
Yes.
And so that's why you ask your question yourself, like, what do we need to do to stop that?
Yes. And here's the other thing to think about. The Bills don't face an offense that's better than 20th in points per game until they play Tampa Bay at home on November 16th. Now, that can be misleading, too, because as we know, bad matchups can lead to more big plays and extended drives and ultimately points for opponents. See Stephon Diggs. This week against Atlanta is a prime example. There are bad matchups across the board for Buffalo's defense. Bijan Robinson against Buffalo's run defense, not to mention that he leads the Falcons in receiving. Drake London, a 6'4 slot receiver against Taron Johnson. Kyle Pitts, a 6'6 tight end who's finally producing in a week where you don't have Milano. And Darnell Mooney, a burner on the outside if he returns from a hamstring injury off the bye. With the state of Buffalo's defense health-wise, do they have the horses to run with all those skill players?
Well, yes. It's going to be a tough matchup, no question. They're going to make some plays on our defense, no question. Most teams do. The thing that has kept Atlanta from doing that is exactly what Bills fans saw from the Bills against New England. They did do it to themselves. It's not as efficient an offense as the Bills put on the field. And I know it's kind of one of these esoteric terms. We say, well, they're efficient. Well, that means the Bills' offense, they stay on the field when they want to. They get first downs. They score points on a big percentage of their drives. They don't usually, now last week notwithstanding, they don't turn it over. Josh is very difficult to sack. All of those things we have talked about in the weeks leading up to this makes the Bills' offense really hard to defend. They're hard to get off the field. They're hard to keep out of the end zone or out of the field goal range. And most offenses are not like that. Bills' offense gives you this sense that, well, if our guys are doing it, everybody else is doing it. No, they're not. Atlanta's got to take a step forward offensively in their efficiency, not in the fact that they have great players. They've got to find a way to do it every single drive, every single possession, get first downs, possess the ball, get into field goal range, threaten for a touchdown, and if you don't get it, take the field goal. A lot of teams can't do that, and Atlanta has not shown the ability to do that at a high rate like the Bills have.
On a consistent basis, for sure.
That's the difference. Certainly, they look great getting off the bus.
They got shut out against Carolina.
But, man, they shoot themselves in the foot. I mean, they don't know how to clean their own weapon, you know? I mean, they're struggling.
Yeah.
Now, if they do, certainly you're going to get a game like they can beat Washington. They can beat Tampa Bay.
Yeah, it'd be a shootout.
They can show up. But they're a little bit of a roller coaster now, and you can point to their youth, a little bit of that, and maybe some continuity, new head coach.
Second-year quarterback.
Some of that's going on over there. But man, oh man, it's one of those things. Atlanta fans are saying, man, if they could just click a little better. And Bills fans can relate to that probably some in the early days of Josh Allen.
Finally, on this topic, can special teams do more to assist the defense with longer fields to defend? Granted, there's only so much you can control. Their punt coverage has been good. It ranks 8th. Kick coverage ranks 16th in the league, or 17th in the league. But the hidden yards seem to have favored the opposition the last couple of weeks. In week 3, 2 of their 9 possessions inside their 20-yard line. Their opponent just 1, and a 4-yard difference in average drive start. In week 4, 3 of their 11 possessions inside their own 15-yard line, their opponent with just 1, and a 12-yard difference in average drive start. Week 5, 4 of their 10 possessions inside their own 20, their opponent with just 1, and an 11-yard difference in average drive start. I don't have to tell Steve that those yards add up and put more of a burden on your offense, but special teams has to provide more as well. Do they not?
Absolutely. Now, it is not just – certainly special teams dictate about 90 to 95% of your field position, but your offense and their productivity also has a hand in that,
yes.
Certainly. If you can get an offensive drive that has the tipping point is like 7 plays. It's a first down and then another first down and then one play into it or punting it away on the 7th play.
That can help you flip the field.
That helps you flip the field because a 40-yard net is a 40-yard net. If you're kicking it from your 10, it's only out to the 50. Mm-hmm. So that your offense is a part of that equation. So, yes, you're right. And you look back, all the possessions that New England had, 11 yards per possession, it's over. They had 11 possessions. It's 130 yards. Yeah.
Those are the hidden yards that Sean McDermott talks about.
110 or 120 yards of hidden field position that is in your kicking game.
Yeah. 11-yard difference in average drive start.
You got to fight against. That's 11 yards difference on your drive start. You had 11 possessions. It's 121 yards, right? Something like that. It's a lot of yards that you got to overcome.
It's over 100.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, but a lot of that is a function, and it is complementary football. And I don't think the Bills' special teams had a bad game at all last week against the Patriots, but they kicked out of their own end.
Yeah, it was an accumulation of a lot of little things that at the end of the game looks like a big thing.
That's right. And you realize that it's just a drag on your productivity, both on offense and defense.
We spin it forward now to the numbers game, where Steve will be quizzed on possession figures for the Bills and their opponents. Boy, does that sound sexy? Here we go. Question number 1. This season, Steve, do you believe the Bills or their opponents have more scoring drives of 9 plays or more?
I think their opponents.
It's actually the Bills, Steve. They have 16 drives of 9 plays or more. Their opponents aren't far behind. They have 10. Because I think
Bills have how many?
16 drives of 9 plays or more.
I would not.
Opponents have 10. Which, I think, again, back to the perspective and the perception.
It's a function of
how much the defense has been on the field and allowed points. I think people generally, and yourself included, feel like it's more.
It's also a nod to how efficient their offense has been. I mean, that's
long sustained drives.
Long sustained drives.
And it's
also
inadvertently helped the defense.
That's also a function of keeping the Bills off of the big play wagon.
Yes.
Teams really have made a concerted effort to put a lid on Josh's arm, and they've done a really good job of it.
Question number 2. Since 2010, Buffalo's current time of possession average of 34 minutes and 10 seconds per game is the highest single-season total over that span. Granted, it's just been 5 games, not a full season. What time do you believe since 2010 is the next highest possession time in a single season? Like, I'll give you a 15-second average, but give me like a 34-10 is the high water mark since 2010.
I'll say.
What do you think would be the next highest possession? And that's for a whole season.
31-30.
Oh, you're right on it, and I'll give it to you.
Is it?
It's 31-46 in 2023. Good job, Steve. That's a hard number to hit with a dart.
It is a dart, but it's not really a dart because I look around. Every once in a while, you look at that.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking, okay, it's usually pretty close. So
you were on it. Question number 3.
Let's go.
Yes. In only 4 other seasons since 2010 have the Bills managed 31 minutes of possession time or more, not counting this season. 3 of them took place in the Josh Allen era, 2020, 2021, and 2023. Which years since 2010 do you think the other time happened? So 3 happened during the Josh Allen era. Since 2010, when do you think the other season was when they had at least 31 minutes of possession time on offense?
2012 or 2013?
Incorrect.
2015?
It was 2015, Steve.
Wow.
Well done.
I was surprised that it was one of the Rex Ryan.
Well, the
seasons.
reason it was in 2015, the Bills led the league in rushing with LaShawn
there you
McCoy,
go. Yeah.
and they had 31 minutes and 18 seconds of possession time. Question number 4, where do you think the Bills rank right now in points per possession?
Ooh, I'll say 1.
They are not first.
Got to be. They're top 3.
They are top 3.
I'll say 2.
They're tied for second at 2.89 points per drive. They're tied with Detroit. Only better than them, the team in the top spot, your Indianapolis Colts, Steve. 3.39 points per drive. They are humming right now.
Yeah. Oh, hell,
That's
that's
why they're
fine.
4-1.
That's good. Good for them.
You're not
Good for
ready
them.
to be a believer in the
I
Colts
am not
yet.
a believer.
Don't
I
we?
am not a believer.
Why not? Too soon?
Daniel Jones.
Okay.
When
Oh, he said it.
when they get, he can't carry a team.
Okay.
I don't think.
He doesn't have to, though. They have Jonathan Taylor.
I know, but sooner or later, you know,
You think he's going to turn into Sam Darnold in the playoffs, right? That's your belief if they get there.
they're playing like a playoff team, no question.
Yes.
The defense is good enough. Their running game is outstanding.
They
and
have skill
Jonathan
position
Taylor,
players.
you know, they got some guys. Yeah, no question. But they're going to
Daniel
meet.
Jones
They're
will
going to
turn
meet
into
a
a
team.
pumpkin.
They're going to meet a team that can match them, and they're going to need somebody to step up. And it ain't going to be their quarterback.
Okay. Bills fans, get in on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Just download the app today to play any way you want. Plus, with live betting, you'll get updated odds on games that have already started. Best of all, you get paid your winnings fast. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the Buffalo Bills. We now ask our one burning question. If you could add a reliable, productive starter at any one position right now for the Bills, where would you do it?
Corner. Yeah, they're just too ravaged right now by injury. Got
And
Max Harrison's out. Dorian Strong's out.
They're on IR.
They're on IR. You've got Trey and Christian Benford.
And Jamarcus Ingram.
Yeah, and that, you know,
That's thin.
behind them, you'd probably plug in Hancock, right?
Yeah, I mean, you have Codrington, but he can't play outside. He's
Right.
too small.
So, yeah, that would probably be the one. Yeah.
I mean, it is precariously thin there.
Yeah, they can't lose another body.
So the easy answer is corner. I think if I had to pick any other position, maybe an extra linebacker, because your
Right.
Dorian Williams is still nicked up. Milano's
Right.
going to be out week to week. Like, you could really use an extra guy there. I mean, you have people on the practice squad you can call up if necessary. You know, Charlo is a nice young player, but man, is he inexperienced.
yeah.
I mean, you got Shaq Thompson, but boy, it's thin there. So
Yeah.
this just speaks to how shorthanded
Right.
you feel on defense with the Bills right now. Our closing figure addresses what has been a trouble spot in the Bills' schedule for years. In each of the last 3 seasons, Buffalo has lost their Week 5 game. Last Sunday was the 3rd straight Week 5 game the Bills have lost. The good news is Buffalo has won each of their last 3 Week 6 games. Only once in the last 6 years have the Bills won both their Week 5 and Week 6 games back-to-back. It's a scheduling anomaly that no one can explain. It happened back in the 2022 season when they beat Pittsburgh and Kansas City back-to-back. That'll do it for this edition. Please subscribe on whatever podcast platform you use or watch and listen to us on the Bills YouTube channel. because when you need to know about the Bills, you need to check Bills by the Numbers. For Steve Tasker, I'm Chris Brown. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time, everybody.